Good morning, it's Christine Crutcher from Create with Christine. Thanks for tuning in this morning. I am running actually a couple minutes late, so sorry about that. And today is episode number 1 of Tea and Techniques. So what I'm going to be featuring over the next couple weeks, we'll see until I run out of technique ideas, right, is sweet and simple techniques. And this is the card we are going to make today. So it's a mix of kind of some older stuff and some newer stuff. So I'm going to be featuring watercolor pencils. I have not featured them in a while. So watercoloring with watercolor pencils and a blender pen. So it's a simple technique. Anybody can do this, but I have a couple tips and tricks to share along the way. So let me show you a couple things. I'm using a couple different stamp sets. So first I'm using Sweet Sampler. And you might be like, what the heck is this? I've never seen or heard about this one before. And that's because it's kind of buried in the January to June catalog. Let me show you really quick. It is on page 88, so it's almost all the way to the back. And it's available when you host. So here it is right here. And I want to point it out and use it because if you host a party or place an order of $150 or more, under yourself, you earn host rewards. So at $150 is when it starts. And I know I had lots of customers during celebration get close to that. So I'm probably going to be repeating it a lot over the next couple weeks because I don't think that they knew when they got to $150 under their own order, they would get $15 more for free. So this stamp set's only $12.50. So you could use some of that $15 reward towards this stamp set, which is $12.50. And it's super cute because it coordinates with all the sweets in the January to June. So you got the hydrangea, the dragonfly, the seashell, and some kind of floral that go with the fine art floral sweets. So it kind of gives you a little variety. So I'm using the little hydrangea. And then I went to my shelf to look for a small image that would fit in the little classic label punch. So I ended up with Many Mates, and this is in the annual catalog. It's got great sentiments, so this is definitely a staple of mine because you have the larger kind of sentiments than the smaller ones that fit in punches great. So I'm using Hydrangea Hill Designer Series paper. It's 12 by 12 in the January to June, and here are the colors. So let me just read it here so I can see it. Gorgeous Grape, Highland Heather, Old Olive, Misty Moonlight, Mossy Meadow, Rococo Rose, and Seaside Sprite. Oh, plus Basic White. So fun, pretty paper. And I actually got this card. So this was the inspiration, and I'll show you as I move the camera closer for my project today. So it's kind of like Casing Sunday. I'm casing this card, which was given to me. And then, but I'm kind of doing my own little technique twist on it. So, okay, I have a lot to share, so I'm going to move the camera down and we'll get started. So good morning, Janine. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Hope your week is going well. So here are the cards kind of side by side. This was the card I was given, and I need to find myself in my feed here. I did not pop up, so give me a second to, here I am, okay. So it takes a couple minutes to find yourself, so here we go. So this was the card I was given, and then this is my version we're gonna stamp together today. So pretty similar, and I'm just gonna kind of move the camera a little bit. Okay. So there's a bunch of steps, so I'm just going to jump right in and take off here. So there's a whole bunch of stamping, so let's do all of our stamping first, and then I'll show you the watercolor technique. So I just have a piece of basic white that's 2 by 3, and I am going to stamp my little hydrangea in. This is very important. I'm going to be watercoloring with watercolor pencils and a blender pen. So I want to use StazOn ink, and there's this little plastic insert in the stamp, and I want to make sure I do not lose that. So I'm just going to stamp my hydrangea. Whoops. Try it again. Good thing cardstock has two sides. Okay, that's beautiful. So second time was the charm. Put your plastic back on your StazOn so you don't lose that. Oh, wow. So I did bring a cup of tea, so maybe I should take a sip of tea before I continue. So I didn't show it when I was up top, but I do have it. It's chai latte, so I'm going to take a sip. And let's do the rest of my stamping while I'm here. So this piece of white was 2x3 for my hydrangea. Then I have a piece of basic white that is 1x4, and I'm going to do the little sentiment. It says, "Today is all about you." So all these little scraps when you cut off for your classes, I save a lot of some of these pieces to do my pieces like this. Okay, and then while I'm just stamping, I might also do all the stamping and get it all out of the way. I have the happy birthday from Mini Mates, and I'm just going to stamp this on a piece that's 3 3/4 by 5, and it's going to go on the inside. Okay, so now this little plastic piece actually has a thing in here that says "Do not discard." So put that back on there and get rid of the ink pad and all my stamps to make room here. Okay, so now that I have all my pieces done, I am going to focus on the hydrangea and a way to color this with the watercolor pencils and your blender pen. So I'm using 3 watercolor pencils, and let me show you because they come from 2 different packages. So I'm going to use Gorgeous Grape, Night of Navy, and Old Olive. So I picked these colors because, well, Gorgeous Grape is in the Designer Series paper. So Gorgeous Grape is going to be my main color, so kind of my focal color. And let me look. These are the watercolor pencils. So there's 2 packs. These are the originals, and then they came out with watercolor pencils assortment 2. So let's flip over. So Gorgeous Grape is in the second one, watercolor pencils number 2. And in the first original ones, I've got Old Olive. But then it became a problem because the colors in the Designer Series paper, the blue is Misty Moonlight. And there's no Misty Moonlight watercolor pencil. So what I ended up choosing was I just went with Night of Navy. Since it's not a focal color, it works fine. And I wanted to bring in some purple and some blue into my hydrangeas. Okay, so let me stop moving these around on you, and I'm going to make a palette. So I had seen this at a conference, a Stampin' Up! Conference a while ago, probably a couple years ago. They made a palette for their watercoloring, for watercolor pencils, and I thought this is such a great idea, and you could do this for a class if you're a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. You could scribble a palette for each person that was attending your class, give them a blender pen. The blender pens come in a set of 3. So I'm just going to scribble on some color. And I have a bumpy table, so it's kind of giving me a little bit of a bump. But I'm just going to make 3 palettes, 1 for each, 1 palette, 3 colors that I'm using. Okay. And one other tip is I try to keep my pencils pretty sharp when I'm using them. I have a sharpener. I got it at our local Staples a while ago, but it's got kind of 2 sizes, and this smaller size is perfect for the Stampin' Up! Watercolor pencils. So this one was from Staples. It's a German brand, and I'm probably going to butcher it. So Staedtler, I believe is what it is. Staedtler. I'll put it in the description. You might still be able to get it at your local office supply store. So, okay, so let's do this. I am just gonna make sure I don't have any color on my blender pen by scribbling off over here in the corner. And I'm gonna start with my green, and I'm just gonna make a couple circles like that, and then I'm gonna start coloring in my image. So this is gonna work for any line art image. And then I'm just gonna come over and do my leaves. And honestly, I'm not even gonna color them all the way in. I actually like how this looked with the white space there. It looks so pretty. So this is gonna give a nice soft look. So any line art images that you have, and if you wanna add a little more, but don't add too much because this is the white cardstock, just plain basic white. And if you do too much with the blender pen, it's actually gonna start to pill your cardstock. So I'm gonna flip over to my other side, make sure my blender pen is clean. And I'm gonna pick up some of the blue. And I'm just gonna go in sections. So just blending as I go. This is super quick. It's so pretty. I'll bring it closer when I'm done with the purple. Okay, I'm keeping it a little bit light and a little bit dark and not filling it completely all the way in. So then I'm gonna do my purple. So just pick up and kind of go in sections. To me, coloring is so soothing and relaxing. So kind of had a stressful week this week at work, and I'll tell you, I have been like a mad crazy Stampin' lady lately. I designed 2 classes this week, and I'm going to show you one at the end, my Sweet and Simple card class for March. But then I was asked to collaborate with my leader on a class in April. So it's actually going to be posted this week. So I ended up designing that class too. So I designed 2 classes this week. And it felt great to stamp, spend some time relieving some stress in my craft room. Okay, so that is it. I'm going to stop right there. Let me see if I can bring it a little bit closer to the camera so you can see it. And it's super, super pretty. I'll try to also put a close-up photo on my blog so you can kind of see the close-up. Okay, so there's my little tip of doing the palette with your watercolor pencils. Morning, Kathy. Thanks for tuning in. And then with this, I didn't do this in the beginning, but I want to punch this out with my tag topper punch. So now I got to be really careful because I did not do this before I stamped. You can see my boo-boo on the other side, but nobody's going to know it's there. Okay, so I'm just gonna pull back a little and hope that, okay, so it's a little bit close to the top, but I think it's fine. It'll work. So tip, punch your scallop tag topper before you stamp. This is what happens when you're live. And then I'm just gonna do the classic label punch for my little sentiment. Okay, and then I am ready. Oh, actually, no, I'm not ready. So back to my palette with my happy birthday. I stamped the happy birthday for the inside, and then I thought I can use the colors from my palette to color my happy birthday. So same technique. I'm just gonna pick up, this one might be a little bit more difficult because the letters are so tiny, but if you go outside the lines, that's okay. You could even do like a light to dark, but you kind of get the idea. I can finish this up after, but you can do the purple for the happy. So this is fun if you have images that you can color in like this. I just think it's super pretty, and then it all coordinates together. So this will be for the inside, and I'll finish that up after. Okay, let's make the card and then put all the pieces together, and then I'll give you a preview of one of my classes. So I have a basic white card base. So this is 4 1/4 by 11, and then I scored it in half at 5 1/2. So just like so, score it, folded it. Then this piece is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And then what I did was I have a piece of basic white that I embossed with the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and my Ornate Floral 3D embossing folder. So again, I was casing the card, and I'll show it again at the end so you can kind of see the differences. So it's Casing Sunday with Tea and Techniques with a twist. So let me know if you have techniques that you'd like to see. I'm just putting this on with a little bit of seal. I like the seal with the white and the vanilla because it doesn't show any lines at all. So it's great. And then my liquid glue. Of course, I'm a liquid glue. A little bit goes a long way with this stuff, so I know a lot of people don't like it, but if you use a little bit, you'll really love it, and it really lasts a long time. So let's layer these up, and then I put my 3x4 on with kind of like at an angle. So here's my 3x4 designer series paper. This is awesome because 3x4, if you cut all your paper down, you'll have no waste at all with your 12x12 designer paper. So put this on at an angle. And then what I'm going to do with the tag is kind of go the opposite angle. But before I do, I have some polka dot ribbon. This is just a 6-inch piece. And I'm just going to thread it through and tie it in a knot. I've been using all my white ribbon a lot because obviously it goes with everything. Okay, then I can just throw on a little bit of seal, and we'll go put this one kind of the opposite. Okay, and then I can put the little sentiment. I can kind of put it down here. I could put it over. So put it down there like so. I'll put the sentiment kind of on straight, but these two layers on kind of at an angle. Kind of a whimsical feel. Then I can put my inside on after I finish coloring it. And then I can just cut my angles, cut my ribbon at an angles. This is super fast because the polka dots actually give you a little guide. So I just cut right along the polka dots. So it's almost like cheating. Okay, so there is my card. Let me show you the original sample. So this was the one that I was gifted or sent, and then this was my version of just a quick and simple watercoloring with your watercolor pencils and a blender pen. So these are the kind of side by side so you can see, and I'll put a close-up on my blog at christinestamps.blogspot.com so you can see a close-up of the coloring. But before we go, I do want to share my card class for this month. The marketing is going to go out tomorrow, but I did put a sneak peek in my marketing this past week. So let me grab that. It's just over my shoulder, and hopefully I don't knock it over. But I want to show you a couple things because two of the cards are kind of like a fun fold. They're different folds. So this is just kind of a regular card, opens up 4 1/4 by 11. And so is this one. So I'm featuring the butterflies that are on special right now. It's the Butterfly Brilliance collection. And this one's got a pretty bow. And so the bundle is, okay, so I should step back. The stamp set I'm using in this card class for March, my Sweet and Simple card class, I'm using the stamp set You Are Amazing, because the butterfly stamp set, or the bundle, the stamps and the dies that match, they don't have any words. So it's just butterflies, which is great. The dies themselves are amazing, and the paper is amazing. So that's why I wanted to feature this month. But I'm using a different stamp set. Let me grab a sip of tea. So you can substitute any stamp set, but the butterflies and the paper are from the collection. But two of the cards have a different fold. So the congrats card just opens up like this. And I've showed this one before, and I kind of screwed up because I'm going to cover up this part. But this is what I designed it. This is what I kind of came up with. So kind of a different type fold. And then the happy birthday card is probably my favorite. It is so bright and fun. So because these were in plastic envelopes, the bows have kind of got a little smushed. But this one is a pretty fun fold that kind of opens like this. And I've done one like this before, but I don't think I've done these in my classes. So two of the cards kind of have a different fold. So I wanted to point that out. And the marketing will go out tomorrow if you want to sign up. Class will be open until the 17th at noon. So that's about a week and a half away. And then I'm not quite ready I designed another class this week, but I'm not quite ready to market that one yet. It's going to be a butterfly home decor. So the marketing will probably go out for that one in the next week or so. So if you're not on my mailing list, please join, and I will have the link below to join there. And again, you'll get the marketing tomorrow. Let me put the camera back up at my face just to kind of finish up here this morning. So thanks so much for tuning in. If you're following me on Facebook, I'm at Create with Christine. And then on YouTube, I'm also Create with Christine. So I'm going to be doing technique videos for the next couple weeks until I run out of ideas. So shoot me ideas you want me to feature. I've got quite a list, probably about 10 or 12 things so far. So you'll be getting techniques with a sweet and simple twist, because I'm definitely a sweet and simple stamper. And I do have a host code for March, so if you want to get that card class for free, just the card kit, all the pieces stamped, nope, scratch that, not stamped, all the pieces cut, all the bows tied for you. Sign up by March 17th, and I'll put the details below. If you place an order over 27, you can get the card kit for free for the 4 cards. So that's it for me for this week. Have a great week. We're actually supposed to get like temperatures in the 60s this week. It's pretty chilly this weekend. So I am ready for spring, featuring butterflies for spring. And yeah, you'll probably be seeing a lot of kind of spring-like projects. In a couple weeks, we'll be getting the retirement list for the annual catalog, so I'll probably also start featuring some of the products that are retiring. Fingers crossed that the watercolor pencils do not retire, because I really love the technique I showed today. So have a great week, everybody. See you next week.